welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing about my breastfeeding and pumping schedule and the products that I love and I swear by, because I've had a lot of y'all ask about this, so I'm definitely want to get into this for you guys. Breastfeeding can be something that is very daunting, and when you have your first pregnancy, you kind of think, you know, well, once I have the baby, those motherly instincts kick in and I'm just gonna know how to do everything. And for some of those things, that is true, but there are a lot of things that you go through in motherhood, especially those first few months of postpartum, that you are just not prepared for. So I really hope that this video helps you guys. I hope that even if you've already had children and maybe you're having your third or your fourth or something like that, and you really want to be able to breastfeed more or at least pump and be able to have some kind of stash in your freezer or your refrigerator for your baby, and you haven't been able to do that before, this video may help you in that area. Now, I just want to put out a disclaimer on this video. The things that I'm telling you guys today is not a guarantee that your milk supply is going to be fuller or that you're going to be able to have way more of a stash in the freezer. Everybody is different. Every body is different. Every postpartum is different. There are a lot of things that go into reasons why your milk may dry up sooner or why you just can't produce enough. There's so many different variations of what could happen and what could be going on. So just know that this is just things that I've gone through and that I've tested and tried out with my last 4 babies, and things that I have found that have worked for me. Now, these things may work for you as well, but then they may not. So I don't want anybody getting mad at me if they try it and they say it didn't work, because I don't know that for sure if it's gonna work for every single person. Everybody is different. I feel like we should all know that with any product that's out there on the market. That's why we have tons of different companies that sell makeup, because not every makeup product is gonna work for every single person. So just to put that out there to start out with. Before we get totally into this video, I just want to say, make sure that you give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. I would love to have you here in our little Soul Tribe Mama family. I know you guys are loving this postpartum and pregnancy content that I have on my channel. So I just want to ask, whether you're new or you've been around for a while, let me know down below in the comments of another subject that maybe you want me to talk about or to hit on, that I haven't really talked about on my channel lately, or maybe something that I haven't really delved into enough for you guys. Let me know down below in the comments so that I have an idea of what you guys want to see next in this pregnancy, postpartum, motherhood bubble. Now, I want to start with scheduling. Your biggest friend when you are breastfeeding or pumping is going to be on a schedule. If you're not on a schedule and you're just kind of going through the day and just feeding here or pumping here or whatever, your milk is going to dry up. That's just a fact, because if your body isn't constantly being told that it needs to produce more milk, then it's going to stop producing enough milk and eventually just dry up. The best thing you can do is be on a schedule. I didn't do this my first pregnancy. Again, it was my first. I thought my body's going to know what to do. It's just going to happen. It's no big deal. That was not the case, and on top of that, my son did not latch very well. And him being my first, it made it worse for me, because it made me doubt myself as a mother, and not being able to help him or provide for him is what I felt. I felt like it was my fault that he wasn't latching well and that he couldn't get enough milk. That wasn't the case. Whenever I found out it was because he couldn't suck right, then obviously that's not my fault that he can't do that. That being said, I will get into that topic a little bit later about different latches and things that you need to start out with. But the first thing that should be in your mind before you even have your baby is make sure that your mindset is, I need to be on a schedule. So when you first start breastfeeding in the hospital, they're going to want you to at least try to feed baby every 2 hours or on demand. Knox, for example, the minute they put him on my chest, I could tell that he started sucking at my fingers. He was ready to eat. And they usually give you that first hour to go ahead and put them on you and try to, if you're new mom and you don't know what you're doing, they'll come in and help you, you know, and show you how to start breastfeeding. If you're not a new mom, you know, you get that first hour with your baby to try to get them to breastfeed. Knox was all about it. Like, that baby was just ready to eat. And I put him on me and immediately he latched amazing, which was just I was so grateful for that I didn't have a problem in that area for him. So starting off with the good latch was great. And then he ate about 30 minutes on each side. And that's usually what I try to do. I don't know if that is something that all the hospitals want you to do, but at least with all of my kids in the hospital, that's what I did. I would try to do 30 minutes on one side, 30 minutes on the other side, and then stop. And mainly because, for one, when you're breastfeeding, you don't really know exactly what they're getting, how much they're getting. And in those first 3 days, it's only colostrum. It's not actual milk. So again, you really aren't gonna know what they're getting. While you're breastfeeding, they're going to constantly check for wet and dirty diapers, and that usually is an indicator of whether or not they're getting enough milk or enough colostrum, and making sure that it's going through their system and coming out of their system the right way. So all of those things will happen, and when you're in the hospital, the nurses are there, or even if you do an at-home birth and you have a doula, they are there for that reason. They're going to help you in that area, so don't feel like you're just totally lost and afraid and you have no idea what's going on. You will have people there to help you no matter which way you're doing it. Because he was doing every 30 minutes on each side, it would be every 30 minutes each side, so it's an hour. And then he would sleep for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I would feed him again. And that would be the sequence for the next like 3-4 days. And that was my schedule in the hospital. And then whenever we came home, I stuck with that schedule, but I am the kind of person that if your baby sleeps at night, let them sleep. Knox was not a sleeper. He's just not a sleeper. So he was up every 2 hours. Now, my other kids, I have had other babies that if at nighttime, they would end up sleeping 8 hours if I let them. Now, when they're newborns, you want to let them sleep. You don't need to wake them up every 2 hours. If they are sleeping, do not wake them up every 2 hours. But I would wake them up at least every 4 to 5 hours. You don't really want them to go past that amount of time when they are, 3-4 days old, because they need a lot of milk and colostrum in their system to start getting that fat on them to make sure they're gaining weight. If you don't do that in the first 3-4 days, your baby will lose a ton of weight, and then that will be a problem. So make sure that if you can get a couple extra hours, totally do it. If your baby is down to sleep 4 to 5 hours at night, that's great, but try to put a timer on your phone or an alarm on, so that once that 5 hours is up, if they're not waking you up screaming because they're hungry, then you wake them up and feed them to make sure that they are getting what they need. Now again, like my baby Knox, if your baby does not sleep at night, that's okay. It's no big deal. Every newborn is different, but most newborns are not going to sleep through the night. They're not going to sleep longer than 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours if you're lucky. So every 2 hours he was eating. Now I start out feeding on demand. I always feed on demand no matter when he was hungry. If during the day he wanted to eat every hour, then I would put him on me every hour. And not only does that help your baby, but that also is going to help your milk supply to keep coming in. So the more that they're feeding on you, the more your body is being triggered to make more milk. Another thing that you want to make sure that's happening when you're feeding, and this is kind of a tricky one, which is why I like to breastfeed and pump. I don't exclusively breastfeed, because you do not know exactly how much they're getting out of you and if it's even emptying your breast. You want your baby to empty your breast, because if you have even just a little bit of milk left in your breast when baby is done eating, your body is not going to be triggered to make more milk. It needs to be pretty much dried up for your body to say, oh, okay, we need to make more milk, we need to make more milk. I like to do breastfeeding, and once my baby feels full, then I put my breast pumps on, and then I pump the rest of the milk out. And it may only be 1/2 ounce, it could be 1 ounce, it could even be 2 ounces if he just didn't eat for very long and he fell asleep. But at least I'm doing that to make sure that my breasts are empty, so that my body knows to make more. And that's crucial in the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks of breastfeeding or pumping, because you definitely want to keep telling your body to make that milk. Now in the first week or two, you're going to feel engorged quite a bit, because your body is new to this. It's making milk and it's trying to keep up with baby. You may fall asleep and wake up with boobs that are just rock hard and just full of milk, and that's okay. It happens to every single mama. The first week or so, that will happen pretty often, and you either just need to put baby on you right away, or if they're not ready to eat, have your pump ready to pump that milk out, because the longer it sits there and gets rock hard like that, again, it triggers your body to say, oh, we don't need more milk. As long as you know your game plan is a schedule and make sure that your breasts are emptying, totally emptying, so that your body makes more milk. I feel like I've said that a million times already in this video, but it's just that those two things are the most crucial. The first week or two, again, like I said, your baby is not going to be on a sleep schedule. They're going to be eating at the most random times. They may eat 2 hours, and they may eat 4 hours, and they may eat, you know, it just depends. They may be cluster feeding every 30 minutes or an hour. So it's really hard to like stick to a schedule other than just try to feed on demand and then empty your breasts afterwards. Once you hit about, I would say, the 3rd week, the 3-week mark is when I would say you really need to make sure that you're sticking to a schedule, because by then baby might be sleeping more at night. Their schedule is going to change a little bit, and you might notice that your milk is going to be dropping off. And dropping off means that you're noticing that you're not being able to pump as much out, or that maybe baby seems to be not getting full off of you and can't seem to get any more milk out. And this happens to almost all of us around this time, the 3-week mark. Your boobs are not going to feel as rock hard anymore. They're not going to get that full that fast anymore. And so a lot of us, our minds think, oh crap, it's not doing that anymore, so that means my body's just like stopping. It's just totally not going to make any more milk. It's drying up. That's not the case. It's just dropping off a little bit because it's trying to get used to the schedule. I try to stick to a 3-hour schedule. In the mornings, I feed him, I lay him back down, and then I pump. And then 3 hours later usually is when he wants to eat again. So then I feed him again on me, I put him down, I pump. Then there may be times where after he's eaten that second time, he wants to eat an hour later, and he's getting fussy, and the best way for him to not be fussy is to just put him on me and have him drink a little bit more and then go down. If baby boy needs to eat way sooner than that 3-hour mark, then I'm not going to immediately pump right after he's fed off of me, because there hasn't been enough time in between that one feeding and pumping and then him feeding again for my body to really produce a whole full breast of milk. So he's only getting a little bit at a time. That is when I would wait 2 hours later. He's probably not going to want to eat again. And then at that 3-hour mark, I would pump instead of breastfeeding. And I feel like this might be a little confusing to y'all. So if he eats at 10 a.m., I feed him at 10, I pump at 10:30, and then he doesn't eat until 1 p.m. So then he eats at 1 p.m., I pump at like 1:30, and then let's say he wants to eat again at 2 p.m. and he's cranky, and so I put him on me at 2 p.m. I'm not gonna pump after that. I'm not gonna pump at 2:30. I'm gonna wait until we hit to 4 p.m. and that is 3 hours later than 1 p.m., which was that time that I pumped. Then I will pump again, especially if he's not ready to feed. I will just go ahead and pump then and make sure that my breasts are getting emptied again so that it triggers my body to make more milk. I also want to say, if you have the LV pump, which I do and I absolutely love, and I think that every mama should have one, if you are going to pump, that is literally the best pump ever, because it has no cords. You're not tied down to having to sit in a chair or next to the wall plug or any of those things. You don't have to hold these things on your boobs or wear a certain bra to put them on. The LV pump, you just slip it right into your nursing bra, and you could be walking around doing stuff. You could drive, which I do it all the time. If I'm out driving and I have to run errands, I pump in the car while I'm driving so that I don't have to wait in the parking lot until I'm done pumping. I can just get it done while I'm driving, which is awesome. Because those things are separate and cordless, a lot of times if he is feeding on my left side, I will have the pump in my bra on my right side, because you are gonna leak no matter what. So if he's eating on one side, your other side is gonna leak, and you really don't want to lose any of that milk, especially if you're wanting to kind of build up some kind of milk stash in your fridge or your freezer. The best thing to do is to have that extra milk that's leaking out, or at least that's trying to get produced and come out of your breast. Then have either a pump in there that can get the rest out while baby's feeding on the other side, or like the Haka is really good because it just suctions on there, and then as the milk is dripping out, it catches it. They also have one that kind of looks like a cup that you can slip into your bra, and it just sits in there discreetly and catches the milk if you're breastfeeding on one side. Those are great. All of those are great, and I recommend any of those because you are going to leak no matter what. You do not want to lose that liquid gold. Every little bit is just worth it. It's not only going to help build your freezer stash, but it's also going to make your body think that you need to produce a whole lot more milk. And I don't mean to engorgement, because nobody wants to be engorged. If you've gone through that, it's horrible. And if you do have engorgement, then this system that I'm talking about with the scheduling and the breastfeeding and the pumping in between is not gonna work for you. Just another disclaimer, because the more you pump and the more times that you empty your breast, the more times your body's gonna try to keep making more. And if you're already engorged, you don't need to make more. You don't need to tell your body to make more. If anything, you need to do the opposite so that it doesn't hurt you. I have not had an engorgement problem, so I'm sorry if you're going through that. I cannot tell you what to do because I do not know. I have had other friends that have had it, and I've heard different things that they've tried to do to help it calm down, but not totally completely, you know, dry up, because they want to still breastfeed. And I have heard that it's very painful. So if you're going through that, I'm so sorry. And I know that it's got to be so painful, but I cannot give you any advice, and I'm very sorry about that, but I don't want to give you advice that could be wrong. And I don't want to steer you in the wrong direction. So if that's your issue, definitely try to get a hold of other friends that maybe have gone through it. Look it up on Google. There's a lot of mommy and baby apps and websites that you can go to, and it'll tell you all about it to help you out. So definitely go to that if you have that problem. Now back to trying to make all this milk. If you are pumping in between breastfeeding, you will definitely be building some kind of milk stash for the freezer and the refrigerator. I want you guys to know, if you are breastfeeding and pumping, when you pump, you are not gonna have 5 ounces on this side and 4 ounces on this side every single time you pump. Only if you're pumping exclusively should that be happening. Because your body is just not gonna, unless you're like engorged, your body's not gonna make that much. If you're breastfeeding and your baby is trying to empty your breast and then you pump, you're just not gonna have 5 ounces. So if you only see half an ounce or an ounce, do not be discouraged. It is okay, that is perfectly fine. Just know that that's all your body had left in it, and it needed to get that out to be able to produce more milk for baby the next time he feeds. So do not get discouraged if you only see a little bit. Now, I also want to point out that there is such a thing as a dominant breast. I have a dominant breast. I think most people do. And a lot of times this can also discourage you if you do not know what this is, because you'll see that one side barely makes anything and the other side makes a ton, or at least more than the other side did. And you start freaking out and thinking, oh my gosh, how do I get this? It's gonna stop, it's not gonna make any more. I have gone through the same thing, trust me. That is not the issue. The issue is that one side is going to be dominant. One side is going to make more. It's going to be the rock star, and the other side is just going to barely be making it. Barely making it through. And that is okay. Just keep pumping and breastfeeding on that side. If you have on the side that is not dominant is the side you usually want to start breastfeeding on, because it's going to again trigger your body that it needs the milk on that side. My right side is not dominant, so that is the side that I tried to start him on quite a few times. And again, I try to pump a little bit longer on my right side than I would my left, just to try to get my body to say, okay, this side needs to make more milk. It's still not gonna make, 5 ounces on that side. I still only may make like 2, maybe 3, while the other side makes 5. But at least if I can lift it from a 1 ounce to a 3 ounce, then I'm happy. So that is another tip for you guys. If you notice that one side is just not performing as well as the other one, for one, it's okay, but number 2 is try to make sure that you're either pumping longer on that side, or that you have baby on there more often on that side, or at least starting out that breast first on that side first, and then move to the other side with baby. Now, if you are noticing that your milk supply is dwindling slowly, and you have breastfed and you felt like your baby is just not getting as much, he's not getting as full, and then you pump and you notice you're barely pumping anything out, there are definitely things that you can do to help build up your milk supply, your milk flow, to help your letdown, all of those things. Now again, the products I'm showing you have worked for me. Not every single product is gonna work for everyone, because I have tried other things that just didn't work for me, but I had friends that raved about it. So again, all these products are different. You just have to try them out. It's all trial and error, but I will tell y'all the stuff that I have been loving, and at least the companies that I think you guys should be checking into. And every company might have different products to choose from within that company. The first one is going to be Milky Mama. Milky Mama, this is their herbal supplement drops that I put under my tongue. I love this company. They not only have these herbal supplements, which they also have like 4 different bottles, and you just have to look at the ingredients and try to figure out which one would be best for you, because some are going to help more with like the milk flow, some are going to help more with the letdown. There's just different areas that they're going to help with. This one is Milk Goddess, is the one that I've been using lately with Knox, and I really love this stuff. They also have cookies and brownies and drinks and powdered drink that you can get to shake up in your water bottle that all have the supplements that you need to help with your milk supply. So if you are interested in something like that, I will definitely have these companies linked down below so you can check them out and check out their products. One of the reasons I love Milky Mama is their cookies and brownies are fresh. Like, they literally make them in their kitchen, send them to you, and when you get them in the mail, they're still a little warm. I swear, I don't know how they do that, but I swear. And they're so fresh tasting, and they are absolutely delicious. They don't taste like vitamins or grass, or I don't even know, like, they don't taste gross. They taste really good, and they are very, very helpful. This stuff is the stuff that I use every single day, but then if I'm like, you know what, I kind of feel like it's dropping off a little bit, then I will order the brownies or the cookies just to have like that extra boost. Now you can also eat some of the lactation cookies that you can find at like Target or Walmart, Bye Bye Baby and stuff like that. So I definitely recommend those too. I eat like 1 or 2 bags of those a day, just because I think they're so delicious, and then on top of that, they're helping me out with my milk supply. The next thing is going to be this new Mama drink. If you guys have been around and watched my videos, you've already heard about this drink probably 100 times, so I'm sorry if you've already heard this part. But this new Mama drink just came out, and it's new to me this time. I have never had this before in any of my other pregnancies. I have definitely seen a difference in how my milk supply is coming in. And then not only that, but this stuff really helps with all the postpartum stuff, like your mood, your sleep, your energy level. And then of course it's going to help with lactation as well. And then again, like I said, this drink may help someone with lactation, and then it may only help somebody else with like their energy, and the lactation just is not working for them. It just, again, it depends on the person, because it's the ingredients that they put in here to help with lactation may be the exact ones that you need for your body, and somebody else, their body may not need those ones, and they may need something different like this supplement. So it just depends. But I drink this because of all the other benefits, and then I have noticed that with this and this, my milk supply has definitely not dropped off at all. It's actually increased on days, so it just depends on the person, like I said. But I definitely recommend New Mama drink if you are going through postpartum, and then of course it would be a bonus if it helps you with lactation. So Milky Mama, New Mama, we've got lactation cookies. Now we're gonna move on to foods. Again, foods are gonna be something that depends on the person's body. And it's so hard with these videos because there's no specific thing that's just gonna be like, take this and your milk supply is going to be awesome and perfect and everybody's going to love it and it's going to work for everybody. I wish, y'all, I wish I knew something like that. It's just not the case. But anything that's going to be high in fiber, high in protein, those things are going to help you with your milk supply. You have to kind of think about it like an athlete. If an athlete is trying to train for the Olympics and they're like working out a lot and they're doing all these things, they're constantly burning calories, then they have to eat certain foods to keep that up, right? Kind of think of your boobs as a bodybuilder. Like when a bodybuilder is working out and they're trying to get ready for an event, they have to eat a certain way to keep those muscles going. Our boobs are muscles, they're producing milk, they're trying to get as much milk out to our baby as possible. We need to have certain things in our diet that are going to help us keep those muscles going and produce that milk for baby. I could try to go down a list, y'all, but again, it just depends on the person, because you may already eat a lot of protein and so maybe you need more fiber in your diet, or maybe you already eat a lot of fiber and you need more protein. I mean, yogurt is really good with that protein in there. Oatmeal, of course, chia seeds, like all of that kind of stuff is going to be really, really good for you. Obviously, try to limit yourself on caffeines and sugars. That's going to be your best bet, especially if you feel like your milk is starting to dry up a little bit. Try to cut out, sugar and caffeine. And then the last thing I would say is water. You are going to want to drink a lot of water. And yes, you do need to ingest a lot of water to help with your milk supply. I have noticed the days that I forget to drink a lot of water, I don't make as much as the days where I actually drink constantly all day long. Now, on the other hand, you're just gonna be thirsty all the time because your body's burning calories like crazy, trying to breastfeed and pump. And then on top of that, it's trying to make more milk. You are going to be feeling parched literally all day. You're gonna be wanting that water all day long. So not only are you gonna want it, it's really good for you to drink it and help with your milk supply. Now, I will say, like myself, if you've noticed that it's kind of dropping off, maybe try to up your water intake during the day and see if that changes. Like I said, with me, it has definitely shown, I've seen a difference from day to day. Like if I only drink 4 cups of water a day compared to 8 cups, the day that I drink 8 cups, I'm definitely gonna be pumping and breastfeeding a lot more and getting a lot more out of my body than I would if I only drank 4. I'm sure a lot of people have heard that, and it's definitely true. Water is definitely gonna help. All right, y'all, so the next thing I wanna talk about is if you have noticed that your milk supply is starting to totally drop off, you're super afraid that it's going to stop and you don't want it to stop. For one, do not stress, because when you are stressed out, your body is not going to produce milk. I feel like that sounds just ridiculous, but it's totally true. The minute I start to think like, please, come on, make more milk, come on, come on, come on, I notice that my body just, it's like it just won't make anything. The minute you just relax, let your body do its thing, just know and have faith. Just know. Manifest it. Manifest that milk coming out. Manifest that milk coming out. Calm down. Just believe in your body and have faith and know that that milk is going to start coming in. It's going to get fuller. It's going to happen. Just keep doing what you're doing. Number 2 is you would pump for about 20 minutes. Turn the pump off after 20 minutes. You wait about 10 minutes. And then after that 10 minutes, you would pump again for 10 minutes. You wait another 10 minutes, pump again for 10 minutes, you wait 10 minutes, and then pump again for 10 minutes. You do that about 3 times. So you start out with 20 minutes, then you pump for 10 minutes at a time, 3 times with 10 minutes rest in between. That is going to tell your body that you need to make more milk. It's going to kind of boost your milk because it's telling your body, it's almost like if your baby was cluster feeding on you and constantly needing to eat every 10 minutes. Then it's telling your body, oh, baby needs to eat every 10 minutes. I need to make more milk. Not only is it doing that, but it's also emptying your breast even more. Now, if you're pumping for those 10 minutes and you notice like nothing is coming out, don't stop pumping. Make sure that you go that full 10 minutes, even if nothing else is pumping and coming out of your body, because that is exactly what you need to trigger your body to make more milk. But I will have this little schedule thing down in the description box. If you've watched this video and you feel overwhelmed or you feel like this is just a lot of information, then I will have everything linked down below. Not only will I have the products linked down below, but I'm going to have like my breastfeeding and pumping schedule, what I do with Knox and what's worked with me down below if you need kind of like a guideline for yourself. I'm also going to do the golden hour pumping thing. I guess that's what I'll call it down in the description box, but where you are pumping for 20 minutes and then you have the 10-minute intervals. I will have that down below so that you can follow that as well. And if I've missed anything on this topic, let me know down in the comments if there was something that you really wanted to ask, or that if there was a question that you really wanted answered, or something that you feel like I've missed in this whole video. Definitely let me know down in the comments so that I can help you out and answer as many questions as I possibly can. Like I said earlier, if I don't know the answer, I'm not going to give you a false answer. I'm just going to let you know I don't know the answer, and I will try to send you to somebody who does, or try to find a link or something to help you out, because this whole motherhood thing, postpartum, breastfeeding, it's just, all of it is a lot for all of us, and I know that. But breastfeeding is definitely probably the most stressful part of motherhood, of early motherhood, and mainly because we put the stress on ourselves because we want to perform for our babies. Now, I also want to say, if your milk dries up and you have tried everything, it is okay to give your baby formula. Please, no matter what, as long as your baby is fed, you're doing great, mama. Please don't put your worth as a mom on whether or not you can breastfeed or pump. Now, I wanted to breastfeed and pump. That was just my choice. And the first time around, it didn't go out for me. And I did feel horrible. I felt like a horrible mom. And when I realized it's not my fault. Yes, I could have done a schedule. Yes, I could have done other things. I could have started that earlier on, but there was, my baby not being able to latch. I didn't know what I was doing. All of those things, it's okay. It's okay to give your baby formula. And it's also okay to supplement if you're breastfeeding and your body's just not keeping up and your baby needs to eat because they're screaming over here and you have no milk left in your fridge or in your breast and you're waiting for your body to produce more. It's okay to supplement with formula. Your baby needs to eat. Do not worry. You are not a bad mom for giving your baby formula. And then one of my babies, I only breastfed for like 2 months and then I gave them formula. My daughter, I went 6 months, which I was super excited and proud about. And then after 6 months, it just became too much for me and it was starting to kind of fall off. And I thought, you know what? It's fine. Let's just go ahead and stick to formula. This time around, my goal is to go 12 months. But again, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I will do my best and I will try to stick to my schedule and I will do everything that I've shown y'all today. And if my body is just like, I'm done, then it's done and it's okay. And I will go get formula for my baby. Please don't ever feel like you are a horrible person or a horrible mom for, even if you don't want to breast pump or breastfeed. That is okay too. You can give your baby formula from the get-go. It's okay. Please no mama shaming. I hate that so much. I literally hate mom shaming like more than anything because being a mom is already hard enough and everything that we have to go through. We don't need other moms to be looking down on us because we chose to do something different than they think is right. Just want to put that out there. One more thing I want to talk about is latching. So like I was talking about in the beginning of this video, my baby just could not latch. And at first they thought it was because he had a tongue tie, and that wasn't the case, but it just seemed like maybe it was the way his jaw was and his tongue. I don't really know exactly, but he just could not latch. And when he would latch, he would only last for like a couple seconds and then he would fall off. That is why it became so hard for me. So if you start out and your baby ends up having a bad latch and just cannot get it done, I had to bring baby boy in. He was crying out there. He was asleep and I heard him screaming. So he says, Mama, I was awake. What are you looking at, boo-boo? Look at that sweet baby. He is 2 months old, y'all. Why are you 2 months old already? All right, y'all. Anyways, what I was talking about is, there is a lot of reasons why your baby could have a bad latch, and anywhere from a medical problem, like he has a tongue tie, there could be something going on with their jaw or their gums or their lips, like there's a whole other thing. And then there's also not knowing exactly how to latch your baby onto your breast correctly. And that is what the lactation consultants are there for in the hospital, or your doula. They all do that. All of your midwives, they know all of that stuff. They know how to help you with that. So please don't hesitate to ask. Now, your first time around, if it's your first baby, they're gonna come in no matter what because they know you're a first-time mom and they know you're gonna need that help. And please take it. You're gonna need it so that you feel comfortable and confident in starting out your breastfeeding journey. Now, I will say, I am not a fan of force feeding. So in that first hour after baby is born, they are supposed to give you that hour so that they can start breastfeeding. I am not a fan of trying to shove baby's mouth and head onto your nipple and your boob and make them feed. Now Knox, I knew he wanted to feed. I could tell by the way he was sucking on my finger, by the way he was rooting. He was putting his face down in my chest like this and rubbing his face. Usually that's them rooting around. They're trying to find something to suck on, meaning your nipple. They're trying to find the food. If those things start happening, then you know baby is definitely hungry and is probably going to latch pretty well because they already are looking for it. If your baby's not looking for it yet, I would always just give them time for a minute. You don't need to put them on immediately and freak out if it doesn't happen right away. Within that hour, just snuggle your baby, you know, put them close up next to your chest, keep their head and their face close to your breast so that if they do start getting a little hungry or if they start moving their head around, you see those signs and those cues to let you know, okay, now it's time to start trying to put them on you. If they're not doing it after, you know, like 20 minutes or so and you're getting a little anxious, then try to gently move their face closer to your nipple. And then the other thing you can do, actually, I'm kind of glad he's here. So the other thing you can do is take your thumb and you kind of press down, show you guys, you kind of press down on their chin right here and push down like that. See how it opens his mouth? And that way the nipple goes in. You want the nipple to like kind of hit the top of their top lip while their bottom mouth, their bottom lip is open, and it can kind of cup the nipple. So when you have them turn to you, you'll push down on the chin. Their face will kind of be upright and the top lip's going to go on top of the nipple, and then while the chin is open, it just kind of helps open their mouth big enough to get your whole nipple in there, and that's what you want. You don't want just the tip of your nipple, you want the whole areola to pretty much be in their mouth. And make sure that's really going to help get the best latch so that you're not in pain, it's not going to hurt as bad. And no matter what, if it's your first time, y'all, not even your first time, if it's the first day of feeding, it's gonna hurt. I've had 4 kids, and even with my 4th, the first week of breastfeeding was definitely a little more painful. And it's just because your nipples are not used to having a baby sucking on them all the time. They're gonna get raw. That's why you have the nipple creams to help you out. So no matter what, your boobs are definitely gonna hurt and they're gonna sting a little, but you don't want it to be so painful that you can't stand it or that you even get a bruise on your nipple. That should tell you that your latch is just wrong. Like the baby is just not latching right and it's hurting you. So as long as you know that whole areola, or at least majority of the areola and your tip of your nipple is in the baby's mouth, then you're probably doing a great job. And again, y'all, like I said, please use your lactation consultants if they're there. Use the nurses if they're there. Whoever you've got, just ask for their help and their direction to help you out. Those first 3 days are definitely, I don't want to say set the tone for your breastfeeding, because if it's so stressful, there's definitely ways to turn that around and to end up having a successful breastfeeding journey or pumping journey. But I still will say that those first 3 days, you definitely want to try to at least know how to latch your baby correctly, know what schedule you're going to want to try to keep to, or trying to learn your baby's schedule so that you have one to stick to. And then, you know, be knowledgeable of all the things that you can be eating or taking, like these supplements and these drinks to kind of help you. I actually started eating the lactation cookies in the hospital right after I had him. Just to kind of keep that going and have that boost. Not only are they delicious and they fill me up, so they were a great snack to have in the hospital, but then I knew that they were also helping with my lactation and my breastfeeding journey. So definitely, I hope you guys are able to try out all of these things. And like I said, I'm always here if you guys need any kind of advice or you want to talk about it. But again, y'all, there's tons of actual lactation consultants. I am not a lactation consultant. I did not go to school for this. I'm not educated, you know, in all of the things that have to do with breastfeeding and pumping. I can only tell you guys what I have done and what's worked for me and what I think works. But again, I'm not a professional. So if you really need that professional, definitely go out and get you one. There's tons of them that you can find, whether it's at the hospital, your doctor's office, you probably have friends that know someone. Never ever be afraid to ask for help. And that goes for any aspect in motherhood, not only for breastfeeding and postpartum, but just being a mom in general. Never be afraid to ask for help. You need a day, you need an hour away from the kids, you are stressed out, you need help with housework, you need help to make dinner. Any of those things, y'all, help. Just get the help. Family, friends, babysitters, nannies, anything that you can get your hands on. If people offer it, definitely take it. And again, you're not a bad mom for wanting an hour away from your kids or even 3 hours away from your kids. You are not a bad mom. That means you're a good mom because you've been working your butt off all day trying to make sure that they stay alive and that they're happy and healthy, and now you need to take care of yourself, okay? Never feel bad for that. We need things too. We can't constantly be giving and giving and giving and never receiving anything. We will just, your mind will go nuts, your body will just dwindle to nothing. It's just not healthy. So never feel bad for needing some time away. Yes, we all love our babies no matter what, but every once in a while we just need a breather. Huh, boo-boo? Say huh, because I'm a lot of work and I got 3 other siblings that are even crazier. Yeah. Are you smiling? Are you smiley, baby? Oh, there's a smile. Well, y'all, I really hope that I was able to answer most of y'all's questions. I hope that this helps you guys any way possible. And like I said earlier, if y'all need me, I'm always here. My boys are home from school now and Jade is about to get up from her nap. So I need to go get all my kiddos settled with some snacks and homeworks and all of those things done. So thank you guys for watching today. Definitely make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you like this kind of content. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new because I would love to have you here. And me and baby Knox, we will see y'all on our next one. Bye.